Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and we're here today with special guest, Reena Vokoun, who's here to share with us her new book, The Wellness Evolved Woman, Embracing Your Authentic Self Throughout Your Passion Fit Life. So are you looking to make life changes that also empower you to grow and evolve? Well, today's guest is going to share how to do just that. So Reena Vokoun is the founder and CEO of Passion Fit. She's an entrepreneur, award-winning author, TEDx speaker, marketer, media spokesperson, TV host and contributor, and certified consumer and corporate health and wellness expert. After years in marketing, sales, and business development leadership roles for Google, Yahoo, Reebok, CNET, GE, and many more, she took a step back from her corporate life to build her own holistic health brand, Passion Fit. Serving individuals, companies, nonprofits, schools, and universities, Passion Fit transforms lives through a focus on fitness, nutrition, mindfulness, work-life balance, productivity, and healthy lifestyles. So welcome to the show, Reena Vokoun.
Thank you so much for having me, Marianne. It's great to be here.
Oh my goodness, what an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this book. So why don't you share with us a little bit about your background? I found it to be so fascinating.
Oh, thank you so much. I guess I have kind of an interesting background in the sense that I spent about 16 to 17 years of my career actually working in corporate America after studying marketing, management, advertising, and communications in college and graduate school. And I had worked for Fortune 500 companies like Google and Yahoo, Reebok, GE, and a few others. And about 10 years ago, I decided to take a huge leap of faith and follow my passion for health and wellness and leave my amazing job at Google and walk away from my corporate career to become an entrepreneur and start my company Passion Fit. And yeah, this year I celebrate 10 years, and it's been quite an exciting and fulfilling journey ever since.
Oh, I could only imagine. Congratulations on 10 years. What an accomplishment that is. And
Thank you.
and it must have been when you first made that transition. I know a lot of women and just entrepreneurs that look at making transitions. That's a really scary time.
It was. It was probably one of the most difficult decisions that I had ever made in my career, especially having been on a trajectory for so many years. But deep down, I think I always knew that I wanted to do something with health and wellness. I was actually pre-med when I went to college, and then I did end up switching to business my sophomore year. And part of that was not because I didn't want to, enter that field of study. It was more about I didn't want to take that risk of losing patients, to be completely candid. The thought of that seemed a little bit unbearable to me when I really thought about the profession and what it would entail. And in many cases, you are dealing with disease after the fact. Not always. Obviously, a huge role of physicians, whom I respect very much, is to help preventatively. But later in my career, I decided that's really where I wanted to be. I wanted to focus on preventative health and well-being holistically in the areas of things like lifestyle medicine, so fitness and nutrition and mindfulness, and how you manage stress and how you manage your mindset and how you approach different life situations. And if that could be a way to help people to live healthier, happier, more productive lives and help with disease prevention and even management, to me, that was something that would be even more fulfilling. And it honestly took my own experiences with burnout. My husband and I both lived and worked in Silicon Valley for about 20 years. And he also worked for Google at the same time that I did. And he's still there to this day. And once we had both of our sons, we were this dual career couple in this fast paced world of technology and digital media, and then had these two young boys. And for me, it was tough because I really wanted to be a hands on mom, but I also have always been very ambitious and still wanted to have the career. But when you're trying to balance all of it and do everything and be a people pleaser and I'm a recovering perfectionist is what I classify myself as. I think at some point you burn out and your health starts to suffer. And that is what happened to me, my husband as well. And that's where I decided, there's probably other, not just women, but definitely women and moms who are probably going through these same struggles that I am. And I wanted to do something about it, not only for myself and my family, but for others as well, which is really what led me to make that, very scary decision at the time. But looking back, I think, had I not made it at that time, I would have always regretted it and always wondered if I could have had, an impact like I wanted to have.
Well, thank goodness you chose the career path that you did, and it's interesting, you look back, and my goodness, it took you having all the skill sets and all the interests that you did to bring you to the point where you're the expert that you are today in what you're doing. So I am so grateful that you are doing the work that you're doing because you come at it from so many different angles.
Yeah, I do try to look at it very holistically. And, after my, formal education, I knew that even though I've been, teaching fitness classes since college, I was always certified and trained in the areas of fitness and anatomy and physiology, but I wanted to go deeper. So then I obtained a health coaching certification, and then I got deeper into a certification for nutrition specialty and behavior change specialty and yoga and mindfulness. And then because I worked in corporate America for so many years, helping with employee wellness and corporate wellness initiatives is very near and dear to my heart because I experienced and also saw with my peers and colleagues how much burnout can exist in the workplace. So then I went back and got a certification through Gallup for employee well-being as well. So I work with individuals, but also companies, nonprofits, universities, schools, and the media on this sort of holistic form of wellness. And for me, it was very important to get that proper education and also, keep focusing on continuing education because the world of health and wellness and medicine is always changing and evolving as the human race is. And so, how can we continue to keep up with scientific developments, medical developments, and then how that affects people in different places in their life?
So let's talk about Passion Fit for a moment. So why did you decide that this was a time to go ahead and start the work that you're doing with Passion Fit when you did start it? And how important is it to have it within our communities?
Yeah, so Passion Fit's mission is to empower women to flourish personally and professionally through wellness. But obviously, the goal is to empower everyone, especially when I'm working at an organizational level. But I had decided to, build this company. We have different products, services, and content that, again, can serve individuals, but also organizations. Things like online courses on work-life balance and personal and professional development coaching and consulting and health coaching and consulting and transformational women's wellness coaching programs. We offer live stream and in-person fitness and yoga and dance classes. I do a lot of speaking engagements and again consulting for different organizations. And then we have an activewear line and healthy lifestyle accessories in our online boutique, and then the books as well. So and then lots of online content that's available for free. So it was important to be able to kind of serve a dual purpose. Pre-pandemic, Passion Fit was already hybrid. We definitely had online offerings so that we could reach people nationally and globally. But then in our local markets, then we would do coaching and consulting and events and retreats and things in person. And so obviously we had to go completely online during the pandemic, but it was, a fairly easy sort of transition back into the world of hybrid once the world started opening back up. And my husband and kids and I live in San Diego, and we moved here from Silicon Valley about 3 years ago. So from an in-person perspective, I had been building a community in the San Francisco Bay Area and Silicon Valley area. And now, over the last 3 years, I'm trying to continue to build that community here in Southern California, not only San Diego, but Orange County, LA, and the sort of greater Southern California area as well. And I think it's just important to have that local community where people can feel like they have a place to go. They have people that are like-minded. There's different, offerings to bring people together. But then you also want to be able to reach people wherever they are. And that's where the online component really comes into play.
Can we live this like Passion Fit life during different stages of our life?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And that really is the premise of my women's wellness book series. The first book, The Wellness Empowered Woman, I published and launched that in 2021, June of 2021. And that was really all about how do you realize the importance of wellness in your life in the first place? Because really the foundation of my work, and I gave a TEDx talk on this as well. It's called Why Wellness is the Secret to Personal and Professional Success. And it's that when we do take care of, how we're eating, how we're sleeping, getting movement in every day, how we manage stress, our outlook on life, all these different things, that not only helps us personally, but it can help us to excel professionally as well. So that first book again was how do you understand the importance of empowerment and how do you get empowered in those different areas of wellness? And I like to call them the 4 pillars of wellness. And that's, mental health, physical health, emotional health, and spiritual health. And that was really, that first book was female empowerment, professional development, and health and wellness. With this latest book, which is launching on November 1st, The Wellness Evolved Woman, to your question exactly, once you're empowered and you understand the importance of wellness, that's kind of the first step. But as you evolve and change and your life situations and circumstances evolve and change, it's also easy to kind of let some of that go out the window, those wellness practices. And I myself experienced it when I became a working mom of not one, but then 2 children. And I, being somebody who had always, valued health and wellness and was so passionate about it, kind of lost sight of it myself. And I saw my health suffer as a result of that. And so I really wanted for myself and for my clients and the community for Passion Fit and anybody that I serve to kind of learn from my mistakes and also just remember that, even though your life gets busy or it gets complicated or challenging or difficult, one of the best things that we can all do for ourselves is to focus on those wellness practices and in whatever ways work for us so that we can stay strong and stay healthy through those different life stages. And it will make those life stages even more rewarding because we'll have a very different perspective if we're looking at it from the perspective of wellness.
I'm sure that there's so many people taking a big sigh of relief that this is something that they can take with them throughout their whole life. Well, on that note, we're going to pause here for a quick break. We've been speaking with Reena Vokoun in regards to her new book, The Wellness Evolved Woman. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you an author, speaker, or expert who is looking for more publicity? Visit radioguestlist.com and sign up for free interview requests from shows looking for guests. Radio Guest List is the #1 free booking resource for radio, podcasts, and TV talk shows who are looking for experts like you right now. Visit radioguestlist.com and sign up today to get the visibility you deserve.
There comes a moment when you realize you're somewhere special. When you discover that each beautiful creature that you see has been rescued from a life of absolute horror and brought to this incredibly free place. Here's where their lives were forever changed and where yours will as well. Discover over 500 tigers, bears, and lions at the brand new visitor center at the Wild Animal Sanctuary just outside Denver. For more information, visit wildanimalsanctuary.org. Discover true freedom at the Wild Animal Sanctuary.
It's one thing to become attached to your perfect home, but what do you do when that home becomes attached to you? A family in dire need of a fresh start, a mysterious house tied to the past. Buried deep within the foundation of the old Far Hill Manor lies a centuries-old secret. Dark forces or something stronger just waiting to be discovered. Caretaker, a supernatural thriller by breakout authors R.J. Halpert.
Internationally recognized and award-winning author Judy Goodman works and teaches outside the box of limited thinking. Working with people from every walk of life, her goal is to empower you to be the best you can be, no matter what the challenge is. Born with the gift of seeing beyond our normal vision, she has an extraordinary gift of working with every challenge. Teaching beyond conventional wisdom, her work is described as life-changing. Visit judygoodman.com. That's judygoodman.com.
I'd like to thank Jason Eastwood at Guitarfulness for sharing his inspiring music and talent with us. His music is known worldwide for cultivating atmospheres of harmony, inner peace, and clarity. Visit Jason's website at guitarfulness.com. Join his newsletter, be part of his community, and download his music. Welcome back to Moments with Marianne. We're here today with special guest Reena Vokoun, who's here sharing with us her new book, The Wellness Evolved Woman, Embracing Your Authentic Self Throughout Your Passion-Fit Life. Change is not easy, and many of us actually recoil from any change that happens. For those folks that have a really difficult time making changes, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I empathize with those people because I think for any of us, change is difficult. Upon writing the second book, I even write about it. I'm experiencing change in my own life in the sense that my husband and I have been married for over 20 years. I've been an entrepreneur now for 10 years. Our sons, who were, baby and toddler when I started Passion Fit, are now both teenagers. And our older son is applying to colleges for next year. So there's so much change that's happening even just in our household. And I think we all kind of sometimes resist change. We have fear of change, and that's natural. And that's not something to, beat yourself up about. I think it is something to just understand and accept. But the more we can, get to the place of recognizing that change is inevitable, that there's only one way to go, and that's kind of through that door of change. Life is going to keep moving forward. We can't go back. And so, what can we do to learn from the past, really appreciate and be grounded in the present, and anticipate the future with hope? And that's really, again, what the premise of the second book is about. And I think a part of it too is having a sense of self-love. In my first book, I talk a lot about wellness practices that really revolve around self-care. But I think what most of us will find is that we don't prioritize our own self-care if we don't have that deeper element of self-love. So I really wanted to dive deeper into people's emotional health and mental health and get into, their past experiences, where they are in the present. What is it about the future that excites them, but also scares them? And how can they sit with that? And really, there's reflection questions at the end of every chapter. And I really want the reader to, or any clients that I work with, to really kind of have that sense of self-awareness. Because I think when you sit in those feelings of excitement, hope, fear, all the different, ranges of emotions that we can have, then you can really just understand them better and understand yourself better. And when you get to that place of self-love, which is not easy, it can take years to get to that place. But when you do have that sense of self-love, you will prioritize taking care of yourself and being empathetic with yourself in those ever-changing situations in life that can be challenging, but then also appreciate and have gratitude for all of the wonderful moments in your life as well.
It's interesting how we look at self love. And there's a quote in your book that really stuck with me. And it says, "It's an act of self love to discover and pursue interests that light you up." And a lot of times people don't even look at self love in that way. And I felt that was so profound.
Thank you. Yeah, there is the whole chapter in the book about that, about, understand, and even in the first book, the whole point is to focus on your passions. The motto of my company is pursue your passions, be fit. And I mean that physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and the rest will follow. And I think too often in life, we put our passions and our interests and those things that light us up on the back burner because we think, oh, well, that stage of life has passed. And now I'm a parent, or I have aging parents of my own. So as a son or daughter, I need to focus on that. And not that you don't need to focus on caring for your loved ones, but you also have to look out for your own self, your interests, your passions, the things that give you joy, because the more you light yourself up and fill, I know it's a cliche, but fill your own cup, the more you're going to be able to do that for others. The basis of having healthy, loving relationships in our lives starts with, the one that we have with ourselves. So I do think that sense of self-love, which does include pursuing those things that light you up, is really important.
Well, your book covers so many things, and we won't go through all those today because I know people want to pick up their own copy of The Wellness Evolved Woman. But one was finding meaning in your life experiences, because a lot of times I think we just think like life happens to us, and it's just this accumulation of things that we're not even sure what to do with.
You're right. And I think sometimes if you can take a look at it from a more intentional perspective, that can really make, the different experiences make sense. And oftentimes they don't make sense until you're looking at it in retrospect. But one other kind of core component of this book is I had written a personal mission statement when I was a sophomore in college. I was 19 years old, and I wrote it in such a way where it wasn't about sort of material goals or anything like that. I really wanted to strip down to the deepest parts of myself and what I hoped to, experience in life and give to others in life. And I wanted to be able to write it in such a way that I could look back at it decades later, and hopefully those values and those meanings and those elements of who I was then were still with me now. And I can tell you, decades later, obviously my life has evolved and changed since then, but it is really neat to look back at that and see how much I'm still the same person and how much that mission is still very much alive and very relevant to my life today. And I want to encourage the readers to be able to do that for themselves if they haven't already. So that's another core component, is to be able to, after going through the entire book, I actually share my own personal mission statement, and I want others to be able to spend some time writing theirs, because then you can not only find meaning in your previous life experiences, but you can look at, again, all the things you're currently experiencing and then look to the future with anticipation in a very positive way, because you're being very intentional about it.
Now, earlier you mentioned just this phenomenal background that you have. How can we look at holistic health and its importance for disease prevention? Because I know a lot of times we're looking at, different levels of disease like after the fact.
Exactly. And I think, the more we can understand the importance of, when we think about exercise, I not once talk about exercise as a means to look a certain way. I think it's more about how it makes you feel, how it makes you function, and how it does help with prevention of diseases like lowering your blood sugar, right, for diabetes, to help you to get stronger, to protect against things like cancer and obesity and heart disease by doing cardiovascular activity, all of those types of things. Strength training really helps with bone density building and helping with your metabolism and fat burn and those types of things, which are all towards helping to prevent against disease. But even if you have unfortunately been inflicted with disease, there are things you can do to manage them and to help you to prevent any of those diseases from getting worse. A lot of that then stems back to your nutrition and, eating whole and plant-based foods and making sure that you're watching your saturated fats and your sodiums and sugars and things that you're putting in your body, because that can also impact, again, potential diseases or diseases that maybe you already have that you're trying to manage. But I think one of the most important things that I've learned in my research and in my certifications is the concept of epigenetics, and again, that lifestyle medicine concept, which really means that we're not always, going to fall victim to any sort of genetic predispositions that we may have. Yes, there are certain things that are out of our control. And if, breast cancer, since it's October and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, if that's something that runs in your family, all the more reason to get your mammograms and do self-checks and focus on early detection and not smoking and eating healthy and getting that exercise and all those different things, because then you could, help to prevent it or better manage it. So what I want is for people to look at health and wellness practices as a way of empowering themselves and not feeling like they're doomed because generations before them maybe had certain diseases. There's so much that we can do in our own lifestyle choices every day. And now with modern medicine and alternative medicine and technology, there's so much out there that can really provide us with more data and information to help us better manage our health.
It's really that education, and your book is such a great place for people to start feeling better about themselves and to find a direction, which I think is so important.
Absolutely.
Well, Rena, where can our listeners connect with you and be part of your community and learn more about your work?
Absolutely. I'm always open to connecting with others. I want to help in any way that I can. So you can visit our website, passionfit.com. That's really the hub of everything. You can connect to us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, what else? Twitter, X, YouTube, and more. And my email is Reena, Reena, at passionfit.com. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to shoot me a note. And again, more than happy to help. And I just wish everyone, health and wellness as we're, getting into the end of the year, we're getting into the holiday season. It's an important time to maybe, and then of course, getting into the new year, it's an important time to take stock of our health and our life and our own sense of self-care and self-love. So I just wish everyone good health and happiness always.
Well, Reena, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you, Reena. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about your new book, The Wellness Evolved Woman, Embracing Your Authentic Self Throughout Your Passion-Fit Life. The Wellness Evolved Woman is available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and everywhere books are sold. And remember, support our indie bookstores. If you don't see it on the shelf, just ask for them to order it. Make sure to connect with Reena on her website, passionfit.com, to learn more information about her work and to be part of her community. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.